We are Journals Out Loud on the Journals Network. I'm your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker. We're here to solve any problem that you think you have. You don't have.
I've been out there
it's going to be
wandering.
It's really not a big deal. We're here. That's the point. Just ask. Just ask. What is going on with you? Give us a call. 888-531-7171. Ask. We'll answer. We don't know everything, but we do know a lot of things. Don't we know a lot of things, guys? We know a lot of things.
Yeah,
I
think so.
We're going to start off the show by, let me tell you who's here first of all. We've got Ben, KatieMichal, Josh, Jilly, Tara. We've got Sarah in the booth. We've got Matt and Lindsay. It looks like Andrew, Aaron, Trish is here. Have I left anybody out? Mm-mm. And we're going to start off the show by talking about, is everyone familiar with this guy, Milo? How do you say his last name?
Yiannopoulos.
I should have learned that for the show, right?
Yeah.
You know, Milo Yiannopoulos.
I'm not going to try.
This guy has gotten himself into an interesting corner, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. He seems like he's just one of those guys who just really kind of enjoys pushing everybody's buttons and being highly controversial. And so guys like that don't realize when they've gone a step too far and like, oh no, my world just shut down. What happened? I was just being me. So who knows about this and who wants to weigh in? First of all, who wants to weigh in and tell the story of what happened? So it doesn't...
I'm terrible at telling stories, so definitely not me. Maybe
it can
my
be
sister
me.
over here.
I'm just kind of...
You
I'm
should
really...
explain it first.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been going on in the news where this guy, Milo Yiannopoulos, is sort of a controversial figure who worked for Breitbart, which is an alt-right publication that maybe has borderline fascist views about women and humans and civil rights and people. And so he's a very adorable gay man, and I guess he liked being their little pet because maybe every fascist publication loves having one black guy and one gay guy so that can say, look, we have a black guy. Aren't we evolved? So he was their guy, and he would just say things that were shocking like, I love Trump, you know, which a lot of people find disturbing at the moment. And someone's migrating across the room. Go, you're taking pictures. No, I want you to. And someone dug up, he was getting more and more press, and I guess he went on Bill Maher, and then I guess there was a riot at Berkeley because the kids didn't want him speaking because they found his views to be not acceptable. And so he was getting more and more press, and so someone dug up a podcast that he was on that maybe hadn't gotten a lot of attention when it first broadcast, but in the podcast, we're going to play a clip from it, and I think maybe that will tell the story. Do you have that clip for us, Matt?
I do.
Okay.
He's gonna get lynched now.
How's he going to get lynched? Do people know who he is?
I don't think so.
What's his name?
Well, I'm not saying anymore.
Well, how old were you at the time? You were a little kid, and he was
Stop
like what?
it. You're trying to.
Was he in his 20s or 30s?
Yet another feminist strategy that you have adopted in addition to your language
What?
policing.
Trying to out pedophiles?
No, trying to go on this.
You were the
witch,
one who was
this witch hunt.
anti-pedophile
I
earlier.
told you it wasn't the pedophilia. I was
Well,
after I'd lost my
certainly
virginity. I was
How
in my
old were you?
teens. I was in my teens.
14.
I was in my teens.
You said
Something
you were
like
14.
something like that.
That's what you
I
said.
was in
14
I
is
was in my
pedophilia, buddy.
teens.
I don't know how they rock it in merry old England.
I was in my teens.
Over here in my country, and
You're saying
fucking
you've
where
never,
you are right now,
you've never
America.
seen a 15-year-old girl at any point in your life, however old you were, you've never seen a 15-year-old girl you thought was hot?
Yeah, when I was 15.
No, when
Thought
you
they
were
were hot as
25. When you were 25.
I'm not retarded, dude.
When you were 25, when you were 30,
No.
you will have seen girls about 15 you thought were hot.
No,
of
I
course
thought they were
you
little
did.
kids.
No, you didn't.
I thought,
Don't
damn,
talk
she's
bullshit.
gonna be hot, but I didn't want to fuck her.
Bullshit. Like
Not bullshit at all.
Look,
You can't tell me what I was born into.
I think if you're 14...
Born like this.
You were born this way. You were born a dreary nitpicker.
No, you're trying to make it so I'm a fucking creeper like you. No, I'm not into 14-year-olds. How dare you, sir? No.
I'm not into 14-year-olds.
Well, that
Don't
fucking
put this
guy
on
that
me.
you said is a great guy. He was into 14-year-olds.
Fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah, he's a terrible person.
No.
He certainly was.
I was a very mature 14-year-old.
Yeah. Well, in your case, he got it right. You got the right guy to molest.
It wasn't molestation.
That's absolutely
It
molestation.
wasn't molestation. It was perfectly consensual.
I don't think it is when they're 14.
When I was 14, trust me, I was the predator. I was the predator.
You
at
were the
14.
predator. You
I
were
was
chasing after the
I was
priest.
the
He was
instigator.
trying to stay
I
close
was
to God.
chasing everybody. I was aggressively seeking out sexual company of adults because I knew it would horrify people, because I wanted sort of power over them. It was my way of rebelling. My way of rebelling. I was the predator at 14, let me tell you.
Do you think that's what's going on with...
All right. So why was this the step too far? Who has a view?
He was saying that he, as a 14-year-old, he had sex with adults
With a priest.
With a priest.
Mhm.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, there's a.
KatieMichal says right now.
KatieMichal's like, don't go to me. Don't go to me.
Nothing. I have nothing decent to say.
No.
I'm very confused.
Yeah, I just like. I mean, that's somebody that really just doesn't care what they say or how they say it, or like they just really want that attention, and they'll just get it. And that's the person that believes like any bad press is good press. And
But do you think that he was
sucks.
telling a true story?
I mean, possibly. There's a lot of priests out there that like go after younger kids. So
Yeah, I
he
think
definitely, could be saying that.
It probably was a true story, and I think also
If he's this outgoing now, like, of course he was that outgoing as a kid.
Yeah, I mean, he might be lying about the part where he was the pursuer, but I do think it's probably true.
He probably thinks he was the pursuer.
Well, yeah, to make him cope with it.
Yeah.
But
But if he was actually having sex with, older kids, or older adults at, age 14, he, to make it seem like he didn't regret anything, or he didn't, like, he knows that he let that happen to him, and he's like, he's trying to cope with it.
Well, I do say, I think earlier you said it like he just would cross the line. I think for him, he actually just doesn't care. Like, I know later on we're going to talk about somebody else, but I think for his personal, like, why he shares what he shares is he just doesn't care what people think, and it's not really a branding thing for him. He just doesn't give a about what people have to say.
So for me, there's a couple of things going on. One is that like he's laying this sort of framework where it's like perfectly acceptable for a 14-year-old to learn about sex from an older person, which A, it's not, and B, he's kind of saying like, I was actually the aggressor at 14. That means he was seeking attention at 14 by whatever means necessary because he wasn't getting his needs met at home. And he became this person who, through seeking attention, got attention. And he would do things, go as far as being a willing sexual partner before he was really ready to learn about sex from an active partner. Because I think at 14, you're supposed to be dreaming about sex, not having it. And so, he just became this very controversial figure at 14, and that continued to work for him until the second it didn't, which was like yesterday. So it's just a weird way for him to learn, and I don't know if he's too old to learn this lesson. What do you guys think? Does that sound accurate, Jilly?
Yeah, I mean, sorry. I think like there's always, like I was trying to think back in like high school or anyone that I know now who is like somebody who will just like do things for shock value. And I think that, this seems like definitely like a coping mechanism, like if, this did happen, but it's just like sad because, there are so many people that are afraid to kind of come forward if they've been like sexually assaulted, and just makes me sad because it's like this is not something that we should be like bringing light to in this type of a way. Like it should be a more serious conversation and not, I was talking to somebody actually earlier today about there's like a situation in one of the sororities where one of the girls accused one of the guys of rape because she was cheating on her boyfriend with him, and the boyfriend found out. So instead of being honest, she said that she was raped, and it was like this whole thing where she eventually like had to come forward and tell the truth. But it's just like one of those things where it's just like it just makes me upset because it's like there's so many girls and guys who struggle for so long to come forward about these types of things, and it just overcomplicates the whole thing when you can't know if they're telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like you can't kind of decipher what's actually going on. So
No, and
it's
when
just
you're
like sad. It makes me sad.
If he is accurately looking back on the situation and seeing himself as the aggressor and saying that therefore all of this was okay and I learned about sex from an older gentleman, what he's actually saying is that like, okay, if a 14-year-old does come on to a crush, like we were talking about last week, that it's okay if the crush says, yeah.
Like you can give consent, which you like can't.
Well,
It's never okay no matter how aggressive the 14-year-old. The adult still needs to say, yeah, let's have a conversation because this isn't happening and you're seeking the wrong kinds of attention and that's not okay. You can't grow up too soon. It's not good for you.
Well, I completely agree with everything that both of you just said. And I also would like to know, I mean, I don't really know where he's from, but I do know this came up on the show like last year sometime. We had this discussion, and it is actually in 1 or 2 states legal for that situation to happen. I don't remember which states. I know
priest
it was
and a kid?
No, 14-year-old is
Oh.
like age of consent in 2 states
There's
in the
some
United
Not
States.
if not if the adult is that much older.
Right,
it
it's
could be
only
like a
if they're-
19-year-old
yeah.
perhaps.
It's not legal in England. Just
She's like,
Okay.
not England.
Thank you, Ben. Yeah,
It's like there's like I want to say it's called like a Romeo and Juliet something.
Yeah, a lot of
Laws
states,
or
like
something
Michigan's
where
like that. They have a
there's
Romeo and Juliet.
But there's a limit.
There's
You
a-
have to both be within the
20
same
yeah,
age
there's
range.
A range. You can't just-
in those states that have that law, but there are 2 states in this country that like 14 is like 18. In a lot of like, there is 2 states in this country, and I know that for a fact.
Okay, if you know
Like-
that not
I
to be
wonder
true, and
which
you're in the
two.
legal profession, can you
feel
give us
feel like it's
give us a call?
South, yeah.
I-
Well, I think it's Mississippi
Well-
and Missouri.
All right,
actually,
but the
to be
way
honest,
that
but-
the internet or the internet as a reflection of the world reacted to this,
yeah,
Josh,
well,
was
no, I don't
that-
think it's okay at all. I'm not like saying it is. I'm just saying
And
I would like
he-
to know where he grew up, just to find out if he actually broke laws. Just
he lost his job at Breitbart. He was supposed to be part of CPAC, which I guess is a conservative. I'm not sure if travel show of conservatives that speak and give seminars. That's a really prestigious thing to be a part of. He sort of lost his place on that tour, and so everything that was going really well for him kind of crashed and burned because he perhaps through being controversial got to a point where there is too controversial even for Breitbart, which is weird that he's so controversial and then he's embraced by the conservatives. Like, what's happening? Who can help me understand, like, what is happening to where in our political discourse and in our political climate, it's okay if Russia helps you get elected, and it's okay to advocate for pedophilia, and, like, the more shocking you are, you're just tipping over tables and, like, draining a swamp. Or does anyone understand what's happening?
Can you
Other
just
people's
clar-
lives are boring and they want to like live through. That's why reality TV is such an awesome thing. Okay, no, not that your life is boring, but I'm saying like, you know what I mean? Like
But you
that's
don't
why
want
reality
the
TV
Duck
and like
Dynasty guy to be your president.
no,
Like,
I
you
know,
just
but
want to
no,
watch
no,
his
no,
show.
You're no, but it's more than that. No, it's more than that because it's not just reality TV. It's like life in general. They want to see other people want to see. The majority of people want to see other people do crazy stuff just because that they have something to talk about and something to look at and something to entertain them. That is honestly so.
Also,
I mean,
can
that's
you-
why reality TV show
Oh my god!
like blew up for the past couple of years.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, KatieMichal.
Doesn't
Can you
matter.
just clarify what Breitbart means for everyone who doesn't know?
Okay, so Breitbart, I believe, is a news website, and it's so far extremely right-wing that it's considered alt-right, and I am not an expert on what you might find on Breitbart.com, but you will find sort of what a lot of people might consider to be very sexist, racist types of viewpoints. The head of Breitbart News is now the chief advisor to the President of the United States of America. So it's reached a point where, like, Breitbart, which was considered like even too far right for conservatives, they've infiltrated the White House, where our president is getting advice from the guy named Steve Bannon, who was the head of Breitbart, and they advocate a lot of really shocking viewpoints that most Americans find to be not acceptable. And they're showing up in search results. Like, I was Googling something just the other day, and it was like the top search result, and like my browser like defaulted to it, and it's like, I don't want to read this on Breitbart. So they're somehow infiltrating our minds, and everyone needs to pay attention because they don't reflect what most of us think and feel. All right, so we're going to move on to answering questions from young people. Tara, would you like to read the first one?
Yes. All right.
Hold on.
So, yeah.
This one is.
Oh, this top one. Okay. So, my friend likes a girl. His friends peer pressured him into confessing his feelings to her over text. And now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know whether she saw the text or not, but he deleted it and he'll probably see her tomorrow. What should he do? He deleted the message on his phone?
Yeah, I think so. which doesn't.
Just chill out until something happens. I
Yeah, I
mean,
don't
you
think
can't
it's-
do anything anymore.
I don't think it's really that uncommon to like tell someone you like them like over text or over DMs or whatever, however you want to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
think
but
it's
he's
that
asking
uncommon.
like what to do. I mean, if you're boys, if you message someone, are you gonna keep like messaging them or just wait till they come to you? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I say wait till she comes to you for sure.
I think the smart idea is to wait. I think a lot of guys will probably keep texting though.
A lot of guys will overkill
So
it.
I don't do
Let them
it.
think. Let them
Don't do
breathe.
it. Let them process what you said, but
Yeah.
don't keep texting.
So you don't want to freak her out because if she doesn't, this is what a girl will do. You'll text her. If she doesn't reciprocate, that means she doesn't like you.
Bottom line.
It's honestly as simple as that. Like she's not, because she doesn't want to be mean. She's not gonna text you back and say, "I'm so sorry, I don't like you," because she's, a teenager. So if she doesn't text you back, just that's your answer. Leave it alone. Move it right along. There's another honey coming around the corner. Promise.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good advice.
That's it.
Next question, Jilly.
Oh Jesus.
Paper cuts
That
for
was
days.
weird. I'm just gonna lean in right here.
Okay.
This guy is confusing me so much. We aren't dating, but he constantly says he loves me. I don't know what I feel about him, and I don't know if he actually likes me or just wants to use me. Wow.
Is he saying I love you like a friend I love you?
Well, that's
There's
what
a
I'm
lot of different
wondering.
like I love yous.
Like I tell my guy friends I love them all the time, but I don't want
Not
to
in
kiss
a
them.
romantic
Yeah.
way.
So, yeah, I don't. It just depends on like if it's flirty or not. But if you aren't dating him and he's saying he loves you in a romantic way, then that's awkward.
I
'cause you
think
should
I
figure that
personally
out.
wish I could like see how they act around each other because that like body language and the way he says I love you and however you guys joke or whatever could really determine what that really means. But I wouldn't say like don't take it too deep. Like don't actually think he loves you for sure.
Because
What
if he
makes
really
her think that
did-
he might be using you?
Why did she say or use me?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Why did?
Because he's a teenage boy and she's probably smart enough to like
But, like,
understand that
wouldn't-
maybe he wants a little
Okay,
bit
but
of
if he's
something.
saying love, I feel like use would be they would already be in a relationship. They'd be like, oh, I'm using this girl, but I'm already in a relationship with her. If he's just saying, I love you, they're not in a relationship because she doesn't understand if he likes her or not. How is he even using you at that point? What is he doing?
wants to use her. So he's setting her up. I love you, making her feel all kinds of feels. So then he can like get.
But should
it.
you? So all right. So should you even be able to say "I love you" to someone before you've said, "Would you like to go
Well,
out"?
maybe not, but the thing is
No.
that love, I love you, is thrown so loosely around. I do it all the time. Some of my friends will do something and be like, "Oh my god, I love you," like, or just like some random barista will give me a free cookie and be like, "Oh my god, I love you." I don't actually love them, but I like love the fact that they did that. So
You love
it's-
cookies.
love, like the word love is thrown around so loosely nowadays, so people really need to understand that if somebody says I love you, there might not be a lot of meaning behind it unless you're in a relationship or you've been friends for this person for more than 5 years, and then you could really know that when they say I love you, that is true.
So what
Yeah.
might be missing from this question is, has he behaved sexually towards you? Because that would be the indication that he's using you.
Yeah.
Let me say, if the way to totally friend zone him is keep saying I love you back before you're dating, because if a girl says to a guy I love you before you're dating or anything like that, then that means you're just going to be friends, close friends at most. So if you keep saying that's how I've experienced in my friends. Like, if you're going to, if you're like speaking to a girl and you're like complimenting and you're just being nice to her, and if she says I love you, then that she doesn't want to be more.
Unless the girl's just crazy and she just is really just insanely in love with you.
Well, I mean, I agree with what Ben said. I do think, though, don't read too much into anything that's being said. Even
Yeah, of course.
I
not.
think that like a bigger indicator, if she's calling you your brother or something, like that's a bigger indicator than saying I love you.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw. You guys, that's literally. That's why I'm so single.
You're like my brother.
Because no, I don't say like you're like my brother, but if
do
I flirt with a guy, it's like we're friends.
What?
Oh my god! No, yeah, I don't think I flirt correctly.
All right. So what do we need to learn? All right. So let's say that she wants it to be more than
Friend.
Oh, I just love you.
Stop talking to him, but don't give him like too much, into it.
She needs to explore her own feelings first. Like that's like because she doesn't know what she wants out of this at all. That's what I'm getting out of it.
No, I think she wants to be with him.
Yeah, like
I think
if she's
this
writing
guy,
it,
is confusing me. Like, how can you say you love me? Like, I don't know if he want. I think she wants him to like her. I think,
but
that's
she
totally
says she
apparent.
doesn't know how she feels about him.
She did.
Yeah,
she did.
Kind of.
I don't know what I feel for
about.
She
I don't know how I feel about him.
Oh,
so
I
there's
think
this
she's
whole
that-
thing Lindsay does. It's called reading the letter.
Right.
I'm gonna look into that.
No, yeah, she.
So
she doesn't know how she feels, so she needs to figure out how she feels about this guy first, and then like figure out what he means.
So
or
don't
whatever.
focus on what he
Yeah,
says.
focus on your own
how
feelings
he
first.
acts. That's what you need
Yeah.
to do on his actions, because actions speak louder than words.
So I think there's something that people do, and there's a lot of things people do. It's sort of like you look up and they're always kind of around. You if there's seating taking place, they kind of go out of their way to sit by you. They might ask you, "Can I get you something?" if they're going to get a thing.
Or if they slightly touch you.
They touch you and maybe hold on a little bit too long.
Right. Or like the good old, like, if you guys are sitting down and the little knee touch. There's a good indicator.
Oh, no. There's this thing that it was on Clueless. If you guys have ever seen the movie Clueless, where it's like if your feet are pointed towards each other or like your legs are crossed towards each other, it's like, I want to be with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I watched
Wow.
Clueless once and I hated it.
What? That's so un-American.
I also don't like Mean Girls. I think it's stupid.
You're a horrible person.
KatieMichal.
That
You
movie
can't
sucks.
sit with me anymore.
It
at all.
honestly
You can't
is
sit
so
with us.
stupid.
Well, she's on a different
highlights
couch
the
anyway, so.
worst,
I know.
the worst part of girls, and people love it. Like,
It's hilarious. It's funny. Mean Girls is
supposed to
funny.
be like
you
a
know
funny
what's
thing.
funny?
like
Kevin
satire.
Hart is funny, not stupid Lindsay Lohan. And
Are you a guy?
Love Kevin Hart. I love Kevin
maybe
Hart.
I can be whatever I want to be.
Because guys love Kevin Hart and girls love Mean Girls. I know it's hot. Do you want to turn the temperature?
Freaking lights!
It's the lights. I can't get up and change the temperature because I'm like hosting a show right now. Sorry.
Okay, I don't blame
So
you.
busy. Who wants to read the next question? Because I didn't get the first page.
Oh,
I need you guys.
Not me.
I'll read.
It's a
I don't mind.
three-pager this week.
Okay,
It's a
go for it.
three-pager. Because we have PewDiePie in
By
here.
the way, we
I
have
have
to address
two.
Josh's shiny hair.
Josh!
Josh is shiny.
Julie.
Oh, Josh, you've been over the rainbow and back. Look at you.
Right up at unicorns. But
Wait. No, you have like you were at MTV today.
Yeah. So I was working with a promo with Viacom. I can't speak too much about it, but yeah,
Ooh, secretive.
yeah.
Mm.
So
I work right by Viacom. Just putting that out there.
I was on the Warner
yay.
Brothers lot though, so it wasn't like at Viacom.
Did you
but
see Ellen?
No.
She's over
I love Ellen.
No, we were just filming, and it was pretty cool. So
there. Yay.
Fun.
Who wants to read the next question?
Okay,
Ben
I'll,
was
I'll
going
read it
to.
now.
Ben.
So, I have anxiety attacks, not common butterflies in the stomach, like hardcore anxiety. I had one when I had to present in front of my group for this project. I have to present in front of others in class, so I guess I was thinking about that, and that's why I got this extreme attack. They were telling me to just read it, but I couldn't, and they didn't understand. How can I overcome this so that I can present the presentation? I know it will come again when I need to present in front of the whole class. Okay, so anxiety is a thing that lots of people, at least I know, seem to throw around quite loosely, and lots of people seem to have, but I do know some people have actually had anxiety attack. And me personally, I'd never had anxiety my whole life, and then a few weeks ago I had an anxiety attack, so I know how you're feeling. So basically we went out for dinner like I wasn't feeling well, and then I never had this Advil before, and then like the woman kept saying to me, "Are you sure you're okay to Advil? Are you sure you're okay to Advil? Are you sure you're okay to Advil? I hope you're not going to have a reaction." Then the whole of dinner we were talking about, "Oh, my mum's allergic to this, my mum's allergic to this." And then I got so into my head that I had an allergic reaction and I
worst.
wasn't having an allergic reaction.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you
anyway,
can talk yourself into pretty much anything.
it was so horrible. So many people told me they had anxiety. I was like, oh, anxiety. But after like experiencing one, like I understand it's like really horrible. And thank God I haven't had another one.
yeah.
Look, I think
And-
you're in. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Stay back. I'm just kidding. No.
So basically, I just think you need to find somehow, some way to calm yourself. I learned this technique, and you just need to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth and say, this is me breathing. As long as you know that you're breathing and as long as you know you're okay, maybe that can ease you and make you able to give the presentation, because the presentation is going to be for 5-10 minutes. Hopefully that's it. As long as you don't get too into your head, try and just breathe and get through it and pretend like nobody's there. Just be as comfortable as you can be.
I think not everybody is meant to like be in front of a camera or be in front of a big group of people. Like, a lot of people just don't like that. They don't want to be the center of attention, and that is okay if you're that person. You should talk to your teacher about it. I think at the end he's still going to be like, well, it's this experience that you need to have, and it's totally true. It's a little bit of personally for me, it's an irrational fear. I don't get it, but that's only me. But I agree with Ben. I think you need to breathe through it. I think you should practice in front of friends and family. I'm sure they would love to help out with that, but just get through it. Ask your teacher if there's any way that maybe you could, get around it, or maybe just not do as many as other kids. And that's my advice.
I wanted to touch on Ben's because I think breathing is very good to do. Definitely do that. But I know when I became 18 and up, I started having anxiety attacks on certain things where if I feel like I'm going crazy because people aren't believing me and I'm like, I'm telling you the truth. I get really, really bad anxiety attacks on that reason and a couple like confrontation reasons too. So it's good that you know what is causing it. And then I think for me, breathing is one thing, but then also trying to get my mind on something different, something that calms me down, because that's really good too. So those are two things that I think can really help you, but it's good that you actually know what's causing it so you can try and like figure out ways to get around it, because that's what I have to do. Man, those attacks aren't fun.
No, yeah. I've been through this like exact situation in high school. I had to present this huge project in front of like my whole team class. It was 3 different classrooms. It was insane. And I had pretty much anxiety attacks like the whole month we had to rehearse these things. And what I did to get over it kind of was I had just kept breathing for one. But every night I would rehearse in front of my parents, and then I would add a friend, and then I would add another friend, and just make a bigger crowd until I could present it in front of like a group, then my class, and then the whole team. So it made it a little bit better. Yeah. Also, if you're just having anxiety attacks, my mom taught me this really good thing where you count, but you count out of order. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, you go like 3, 7, 16, 2, and it just takes your mind off of things because you're not counting in order. You have to concentrate on what numbers you've said already, and it just calms you down.
Yeah. So I wanted to say like a couple things. When I answered this question in the app, I referred her to a website, and it explained that anxiety attack, a panic attack lasts about 3 minutes. So try to keep in mind that although it does feel like you're going to die, because I've been told that's how it feels, it's only going to last 3 minutes. It has a lifespan. There's only so long that your body is capable of enduring that. And so if you touch something and feel something real and do the breathing, and just know and tell your friends, like, I'm having a panic attack, and don't be shy about it, because a lot of people get them. It will pass. The other thing is to prepare for public speaking. I was talking to Trish about this earlier. What I would do is like practice your speech over and over and over again while your family yells at you. So you're literally talking over this bedlam and getting used to that. Even if your head is the thing that's screaming at you, that you're going to be able to talk over it and push through it and finish your report and sit back down. Who are you pointing to, Aaron?
Yeah, well, I have 2 things that I want to say. Well, off of what you said, I do agree that it's like 3 minutes is like the max, but I do think you can have one back to back to back. Because like I know when I got my like Invisalign, I used to think that I mean I have a pretty high levels of anxiety all the time, but when I got my Invisalign, like I don't know if anybody here has like claustrophobia or like the fear of being trapped or whatever, but I put it in and it was like I was trapped, but I wasn't like anywhere being trapped. Like it was so tight and the pressure was like so not cool that I was like freaking out. Like I was in a store and I was freaking out, and then I would calm down for a couple minutes and I freaked out again. It was ongoing for like 4 days.
But it was a situational thing that was happening to your body.
It
wasn't
was,
like,
but it was
I don't want this
still-
kid to think that she's going to have an anxiety attack every time she has to. Because KatieMichal was saying, like, oh, maybe not everybody likes public speaking. But the problem, KatieMichal, is that everybody has to do a certain amount of it. You don't have to build your career
I'm
around
not saying
it.
you should, run from it, or like you definitely have to. If your fear is getting up in front of people, you have to at least do it a couple times.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
and like, it's like you're kind of explaining sort of like what a horse would feel the first time you put a saddle on it. It's like, I don't like this. Let me see if I can buck it off of me.
I mean, where I was going with that was then tying into what I was going to say about what she was saying about the counting. The reason why the counting works is because you're getting your mind off the thoughts that are happening. So if everyone, I mean, I don't know if everyone can agree, but anxiety is really about the thoughts that are around what's actually happening or what's in front of you. So you took a pill, but the thoughts were what's getting to you with anxiety.
Yeah.
You have to give a presentation. It's what's going to happen during that presentation that's giving the anxiety. So what my trick is, and what I've known that works for people with anxiety, is just like be real with actually what's happening and then what's not happening. And then also if that doesn't work, just center yourself in whatever room you're in. So be like, okay, there's an Apple logo right there. There's this here. There's this here. Like really be in the room wherever you're at, and it takes your mind and thoughts away from, just like the counting will, what you're thinking otherwise.
I think this is probably definitely coming from a place since you're in high school of judgment. You're afraid to be #judged. Here's what I always think. This is how I live my life. No matter what I do, I'm going to get judged from it at like every turn. So you might as well just get up there, do the best you can. Because just know that if they're not going to judge you for your speech, they're probably going to judge you for how your hair is or how your eyes look or what like shoes you're wearing. So you can't win. So you might as well just have fun while doing it.
That's kind of scary.
Nah, come on.
Just dance. Just
It's
do whatever.
true.
Peace in.
I mean, no matter, you can't make everybody happy, so you shouldn't worry about, like, obviously you're gonna worry about what people are gonna say and think, but other than that, like, you just, you can't help what other people are gonna do and say, so don't worry about it.
If you're sitting at home right now judging us, please give us a call. 888.
#judgment.
Everybody together. 531-7171. Light up that phone. We love it when you call. We want to hear it. We want to hear what you think of us.
Hotline bling.
And who would like to read the next question?
I
Sean.
miss that song.
That was my name. Hello. Okay, this next question says, yeah, just hold it right there. How do I avoid temptation? I know teen sex is a problem and I understand why, but how do I say no even if I really want to say yes?
Say no.
How?
You verbally
No.
go,
Abstinence is key.
no.
First you
But
put
still, you can say no, and the yes in your brain is taking
So what-
over. So I'm saying they're asking how.
Do you guys feel like your
Okay,
generation has
it's easier said than done.
KatieMichal, do you guys feel like your generation has a problem with delaying gratification? Because
Absolutely. Wait.
Those are some big words. She couldn't delay it.
like waiting until I finish the question.
She couldn't delay her gratification.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think I know what you're gonna say, like gratification.
So many words.
That was a really big word for me.
But I know I understand what you like. Say it in a less comfortable.
Well, like,
Like
oh, like I
being
want what I want when I want it.
Yeah, you
like
want,
I'm
like-
not willing to wait
yeah,
until
for
I'm 18
sure.
to have sex. I want.
Yes.
I can just tap on the screen and the next thing is going to come up. Like I don't like this song.
Yeah.
I don't like the song. I want this song now.
I feel like the normal age for like kids to lose their virginity or just people to lose their virginity is getting lower and lower. Like as each generation passes, I feel like
I don't.
getting
I think
lower.
that's a myth.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
it's getting
I don't
lower
think
and
so.
lower. It's just like more people are coming out and you're more
I feel like
knowing
10 years ago
about
the
it.
normal age was like what 17, 18, maybe more, but like I feel like now the normal age is like 15. Oh, I'm not on the mic. Sorry.
Well, I still advocate for teenagers that you wait until you are 18 at least and in a loving and committed relationship with someone who wants to take care of your safety, emotional and physical. And I don't think it's that sex is for children. I think being a child is for dreaming and fantasizing about it, but waiting until, because sex makes babies, and let's not pretend it doesn't, because it does. It's
If
the
you
best
wait-
way to make a baby.
If you wait, it'll make it so much better once it actually comes down to it.
Exactly. And so if you can wait, that's the key thing, Sean. So this person is saying, how do I say no? And we're saying just
That's what I'm saying.
decide
Just
that
wait. Just
you're
wait.
going to say no.
Until you're in love.
You can have like 17 cookies and weigh yourself and be like, why am I like this weight? Well, because you should have just had 2 cookies. That's why. So why is it so hard? Why does someone have to write to us to get advice as to how to say, oh, that's not a good idea, so I'm just going to use willpower, good old-fashioned willpower?
I mean, I know as the first time I experienced knowing anyone my age who'd had sex was when I went to kind of like a lower class school, and I found out a 13-year-old girl went for a pregnancy test with a doctor, and that kind of shocks me. I think it's different upon your area. When I came to when I came to LA and I went to high school as a freshman, and I know people are already having sex, and not only just people in the grade together. I just think it's really something that's happening, and I myself have not been in that situation to say no or yes, and I don't want to put myself in that situation. Yeah, I think it's just the thing is, no matter what we tell you, if you want to do it, it's gonna happen. You just have to find something in yourself that makes you not want to do it, because once you've done it, like that's it. Like there's no going back to a time when you hadn't.
Ben said it, that he answered your question. Don't put yourself in this situation to have to say no. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Yeah. So like if there's a party and you know that this guy and you, or this girl and you, I don't know, girl and girl, guy, whatever, I don't care, are like been feeling each other like in school, texting, whatever, and then you know that there's going to be a party, you know that there's going to be there, like don't go anywhere without like your friends or something. Or if there's a football game and he or she asks you to like go around the corner or something, like don't do that. So Ben said it, don't put yourself in the position to have to say like no when you really want to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep yourself from getting into that situation. Like there's I mean, you guys may or may not know, depending on what age you each are, but there's like a point of making out where the person is going to expect the next level of things, and you kind of can stop. You can stop right there, and I just have to explain something to you. When you stop right there, you can't go back to regular kissing and think that they're going to get it. Like you have to have that conversation when all of your clothes are on and you're not in heat. You have to say, "Look, I'm not comfortable going past this spot," because if some guy is making his moves and you stop and then you start kissing him again, he's just going to go right back to where he was when he left off, because that's just kind of like the expectations of making out. And so, like what KatieMichal was saying, like don't get yourself into that situation where like you're 3 seconds away from sex, because once sex happens, everything else changes. The next morning, you're just like, am I pregnant? And we don't want that for you. Go ahead.
I just want to like say that in high school, that was me. All the guys, like when I would like talk, because y'all did the talking thing, right? That everyone did.
What are you talking about?
Like you're not dating, you're talking.
You're not dating, but you're
We've
talking.
all done that.
Yeah, no, I mean that was
talk to people.
End up dating.
I never even got to end up dating, because whenever they would start like kissing and stuff, it was always straight to sex throughout my whole entire high school life. So that's why I could never have a boyfriend, because I had to keep on saying like no, and then it was just like, well, should I? Because that's the only way that they want to keep staying with me. So I'm just like, well, I kind of want to. I don't know. So it's just like, be prepared that you may not have a relationship for a while, because that's what a lot of guys or just kids are thinking. But like it is a thing, and you just have to like have the willpower to be like, no, I really just don't want to, because you don't want to until you're in a relationship.
Well,
like
that's how you know what kind of person they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
If you stop it and they're like, oh, come on, like don't be like that, like come on, babe.
Just don't be sad if that happens a lot, because
babe,
it will
you're
happen
beautiful,
a lot.
like don't be like that. Then you know, like this ain't for real. He just wants the booty. You know what I mean?
I'm glad that we have really nice
2 weeks
boys
in a
on our
row.
show, right, Jilly?
Yes.
We have really nice boys. Where are we? Because I don't have the first page.
Second
we're on
second
the
page.
second page.
We're on the
Are we up to PewDiePie?
We're at PewDiePie.
All right. Who wants to explain PewDiePie?
Wait, where's
PewDiePie?
I'm confused.
I don't
Josh,
know
you're
how
good
to-
at
He's a
this.
YouTuber.
You speak thorough PewDiePie.
I speak thorough.
I don't
Alright,
know
so
how
take
to
it,
Josh.
PewDiePie.
It's like gaming videos.
Take it away. PewDiePie has gotten himself into some trouble. And make sure, Josh, as you explain, make sure you set up the clip.
Oh
Because
boy.
we first have the clip of like what.
Now this is like I'm having anxiety.
No, you can do
Is
it.
PewDiePie
Okay.
racist?
So
I'm here to help you.
So PewDiePie is like the biggest
Oh my
YouTube person out there.
He's an
He's still number
influencer.
He,
Is he still number one?
Yeah, he's still number
Yep,
one.
he's still number one.
Way number one after that.
Influencer.
Stunt
Like
a
earlier
couple
this
years
year.
I hadn't heard of him.
So anyway, he started off as like a gaming person on YouTube, and then slowly transitioned it more into blogging, and that's all he does now. He's done a couple stunts this year, and then the most recent one was what we're gonna be talking about today, which was he hired a few kids. I believe it was like from Sri Lanka. To hold a message saying "Death to all Jews," and for him, and kind of like bouncing off what I said earlier, it was more of like an untasteful joke. I think he wanted to have the shock factor and thought it would go well, but overall, because of this, he's been losing sponsors, he's been losing fans. There's a lot of backlash from saying
Turns
this.
out anti-Semitism not hilarious.
Yeah, not a good
Not
joke.
funny.
I really
Um,
don't understand how he thought that was funny.
All right,
well,
so let's throw.
We'll
the
talk
clip.
about it in a minute.
Yeah, I'm desperate to watch though.
The fuck is this? I paid for this. What? What's with the Christmas? I like the editing.
Subscribe to Keemstar.
Okay, so this goes up, and
That's the sign, and
And-
it says "Death to all Jews." I
Yeah.
can't
it
see
does, it does.
Yeah.
And he had, at this point, he had really been doing extremely well. He had sponsors. He had a TV deal. I don't know all of what he had because I'm not that familiar with his career, but things were going
There's
really,
gonna be a
really
lot
well.
of-
And just as we were talking earlier with Milo, it seems like this was maybe a step too far for the real world. It's like in your little insular, little like I'm the greatest kind of world, like you're great for being controversial, and then you're so controversial that you're on CNN,
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, there's two
outside
levels
your
to
bubble,
this.
no one thinks this is funny.
Yeah, well, there's two levels to this. One, his brand is based off shock value, so he's constantly doing things to always pique public interest. Earlier this year, he said he was going to delete his channel, so thousands of people flocked to his channel and followed him, and then he didn't delete his channel. And then they had another issue, and then another issue. This is just the latest thing in his shock value tactics. However, with that being said, like the nature of the joke and the companies he's involved with, like Disney and Google's YouTube and a few other companies, like this gave them the ammunition to get rid of him, which they were trying to get rid of him anyway because of his branding conflict. Like there.
Did he explain why it was funny though? Like I
Yeah,
really
that doesn't make
that's
it.
what my question is. Like,
No, his apology video
I
was
need more
mostly
con-
him.
I need more context. I need more context to
What,
why
like-
he posted the video.
is
'cause,
like is he
was the
Jewish?
joke?
Is
What
are
was
they
He's not
like,
Jewish.
what
He's not
was
Jewish.
it?
He's
not
Norwegian.
Jewish.
So what was the
But it
joke?
doesn't
Like
matter.
if you
It doesn't
no.
matter.
Obviously, it's not a good joke, but I'm saying he put it out there because it's like badum cha. What is the badum cha?
Aaron,
That's
do
what
you know?
I'm questioning.
badum
What the
cha
Can we get Aaron
joke
on?
is actually in.
Can we get
like,
Aaron
did
in
he just
here?
pay them to do that video and just post that by itself and that's
Okay.
it? Like that's the whole thing? Like I
He
don't get it.
explains himself in the video a little bit,
Oh,
but
okay.
at the same time, it's like a very rudimentary explanation.
We're gonna
It's
cut
not-
to
I'm not
Aaron.
saying that joke's okay.
It's his.
just-
We're going to
it's
cut to
his
Aaron really
idea.
quickly,
It's
and then we're going to cut
Yeah.
to a little bit of his
what is
apology.
this idea funny? That's
In
what
his
I'm trying
in
to
his
get.
apology, it seems like he's just extremely defensive and angry and blaming the media like he's a baby Trump or something. And I found it very obnoxious that he didn't just open with a flat out apology. But Aaron, what do you know about this situation?
Well, okay, so just regarding that video in particular, his point of view on that video was actually it wasn't a comedy video, it was a social commentary video. And the way he thought it would be taken was it's horrible that I can pay someone to hold this sign. That's what he was.
So he was trying to send
go
a
for.
positive message, which flipped out
Yeah.
to be a bad message.
Yeah. Now,
I'm
whether
sorry, I
whether
don't
or
care.
whether or not that is the case is up for debate, right?
Oh, so that was him as himself commenting, saying like, "What the f is this?"
Right,
He's like, hey, look what I can do that I shouldn't be able to do.
Right. Exactly. It was basically him.
Are you sure he wasn't just bring social awareness to these people that are
No,
doing
he
that?
paid those people
Yeah,
to
he paid
do
them.
that.
Because they didn't speak.
Right.
They probably don't speak English, right?
So they didn't understand.
They didn't
what
understand it, and he's like, "Look what I can do. I can literally say whatever I want and pay them to
It's
hold
part
up
of the
any sign
shock
that they wanted
brand.
to do."
Okay, it doesn't matter what point he's coming from. I'm a Jew and I'm a proud Jew, and I've grown up with stories from the Holocaust with 6 million Jews brutally murdered, and I think no matter what your point of view, no matter where you come from, what religion you are, if this was death to all Buddhists, I would be as deeply hurt as I feel right now. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and I feel like he deserves everything he's got, and that's my opinion, and all his fans might hate me for saying this, but it doesn't matter what context. He has millions and millions and millions of subscribers, and they may be uneducated, and you can't put something on expecting everyone to take it the same way, especially when you have so many people that watch and comment and like good things. And I think he has to be more educated himself before he releases a video like this, because just those 4 words can spark terrible, terrible things, because Jews and all other religions have already dealt with enough to have. As someone who's such an influencer needs to understand that what they do, YouTube isn't a little thing anymore where people just say something and it goes out to 100 people. YouTube has come to life, brought new celebrities to the world, is on billboards, is created new TV series. It's not just a little thing anymore where it's your own point of view to a little small amount of people. This goes out to everyone, and so hurtful to other people who have stories where their grandma and great-great-grandparents are being gassed in chambers, and it doesn't matter if you're saying, look what I can do, I can get people to pay, or these people don't know what they're doing, or these people can't speak English. It goes way beyond that, because even those 4 words, death to all Jews, to all Christians, to all Buddhists, to all Muslims, is absolutely disgusting, and there's no way, in my opinion, that can bring anything positive.
Well said.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's this complicated situation where, he is a gaming channel. He has
Not anymore.
but he is a gaming channel who gets the most amount of subscribers in YouTube history. Still, that's true. And he decides that he wants to try and grow his brand, expand out. He does entertainment, he does blogging, he does whatever, right? And now he's trying to do social commentary. It goes totally wrong. And, I think that what you're saying about responsibility, that is the part where this comes into play. As a gaming channel, what responsibility do you have? Maybe not that much, but as you branch out, as you become just a person who has, I don't remember the number of subscribers, but it's millions and millions and millions of subscribers. And 50 million?
It's like,
53.
Well, I think it's gotten more now since he pulled that stunt earlier.
Yeah,
this year.
53 million subscribers, right? Like, now you are not a dude playing a game. You are a dude speaking your opinions to all of these people, right? And it may have even giving him the benefit of the doubt and assuming that this was intended to be some kind of a positive message or some kind of a message of the world is messed up and we need to fix it, whatever it is, he needs to understand that with that many eyes on you, you're going to have a sense of responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. It's really it's stupid. I have to come back to Spider-Man, but it's true. You are basically giving these people, not all of whom have the depth of knowledge to grasp what it is they're seeing, and they see the words "death to all Jews," they think that's an endorsement,
Well,
right?
I mean,
So there's nuances to it that not everybody is going to read into, and so I'll go to your point in a second, Josh. But I just wanted to say that like the YouTube is the new frontier, and like the old model of media is kind of sort of giving over to influential YouTubers because they don't completely understand them, so they're giving them a ton of freedom. So these people are sort of like growing into themselves sort of in a vacuum, as if there's nothing they can do that's touchable. Whereas most people, like if KatieMichal got a job at, MTV, she'd be kind of like groomed and trained and like, you can say this, you can't say this. And there'd be like tug of wars behind the scenes about, well, I want to talk about this tomorrow. No, you can't. Yes, I can. And it would be, she'd learned from her elders in the workplace, but he's working completely in a vacuum. And in his apology video, he speaks about how there's no one here, there's no one behind, it's just me, there's not even someone behind the camera, I set up my own camera. And so he's kind of at a disadvantage because he's very arrogant and he's not interested in hearing that you can say this maybe and it's shocking and funny, but you can't say that. And so he wasn't contrite, there was no contrition at all. And we're going to play a little bit of the apology video, but I just feel like this is a guy who's really talented and really smart, and he could learn something if he would just stop and say like, okay, how do I fix this? And I don't feel like he's at that point yet. Go ahead, Matt.
Eyes on me during this video, so I'm going to address this as if I'm talking publicly and not directly to my audience, which is how I normally would do it. So, hello, my name is Felix Schellberg, but you probably know me as PewDiePie. I've been making videos on YouTube for about the last 6 years. It's been a hobby that I've been fortunate enough to have as my job for most of that time. I've been extremely lucky and way more successful than I could ever possibly have dreamt about. And as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, I make a substantial living from doing YouTube videos. And the reason why you know this is because that's all the media has ever acknowledged before, besides from now. I think most internet personalities can agree with me that the media generally doesn't like us very much. Variety, for example, posted in 2013, "If PewDiePie is YouTube's top talent, we are all doomed." That was sort of my introduction to the media. This is in 2013. And although I don't think I understood it at the time, I think what this article shows more than anything, old school media does not like internet personalities.
All right, this goes on and on. It's about a 10-minute video, and he's like 4 or 5 minutes into the thing before he even mentions like the vague hint of an apology. And Aaron, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's not okay. It's complicated because he's actually right about a lot of this stuff. I mean, like, I've been following this stuff for years and years, and he, in many of these points, is accurate and correct about the media and about like how it deals with internet celebrities and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like someone like me who's so entrenched in that world, he's saying this for 11 minutes and giving me the full picture, and it's enlightening, and I'm like, well, this is fascinating, and I learned a lot today, and it actually meshes well with what else I've learned on my own research in my own time. And that is kind of a separate point, however, from the issue, right? Like, I think that what he's saying here is not the right time or the right place necessarily to be saying all this stuff, but he is correct. He is correct on a lot of that. And where it comes down to the actual apology, I agree it's a bit complex. I think that he is very kind of a little arrogant because he is so insulated. But he certainly, I mean, I watched the whole thing. He certainly did make it clear that he recognized he had gone too far and that maybe there is a responsibility aspect to this that he hadn't anticipated because he comes from a position of a gaming channel that now is something else, right? Yeah. So I do think he does touch on that, but I can understand why someone who is removed from that world would watch the first like 3 minutes and be like, well, this is complete crap.
Well, yeah, and what's interesting about that is that's kind of like been going on for generations, and whenever like the new young hot disc jockey would come on the air, like all of the older guys would like be resentful because this person's getting all the attention. And in this new form of media, like people in mainstream media, they don't even understand how YouTubers or why YouTubers are famous. So they're resentful for like a whole number of reasons. A, they don't think it's funny or entertaining, and B, why is this guy more popular than I am right now? So, and especially if you're from the management side where you need talent to make money, you feel really resentful that this person has all the power and all the attention and all the glory, and you don't even get to like say, well, I created him. Like at least in the old model, you could say like, well, I discovered him, and I had the eye, and so it's complicated on a lot of different levels. But I also feel like he could do with some mentoring or just some listening to an older generation about, how they came up and what they learned, because he just wants to sort of blame the Wall Street Journal and blame mainstream media just because, he got a couple of reviews that didn't understand him, Aaron.
Well, it's complicated. Yeah. It's really, really complicated because if you go into the evidence that he provides, I mean, like, and it's not even just him, but basically, yeah, there is a lot going on in the people who are condemning him that make me think that there is kind of an agenda going on. Not that he didn't do anything wrong.
That there might be a conspiracy a little bit
to
shut him down.
I thought it would have made more sense if that was an actual video that was going viral and he commented on it. I just can't get over that he made the video and then he commented on his own video. That's where he messed up. If it would have been a normal video, then okay. But I don't understand how he thought that was cool.
I mean, he wants to be able to say, well, they just were waiting for an excuse to bring me down. Like that's kind of like the conspiracy theory that he's touting. Go
I mean,
ahead.
like, here's the deal. If you're going to make that type of video and even remotely think it's going to be okay, you have to come out with something saying beforehand, like, this is why I made the video, and then show the video. Don't just post the video and expect it to go over well. 2, he's just witnessing now, like, what happens when you have a shock value brand. You sit there and you continually have something that has to shock the people,
More
shock
and
the
more
people.
and more.
But sooner enough, they're like, this no longer affects them. You have to do the next level. He's just now reached a level in which he has to shock through mainstream media, and that's not going to go well for him. And obviously it didn't go well for him this time.
It's not. It's
And-
unsustainable.
Sorry.
And it
Yeah.
just doesn't work. Like, he's witnessing the fall of everything that he's built over
But
the
he
last
doesn't
couple
have
years because he didn't really build anything. He built a very unstable structure.
Yes, and he doesn't have enough life wisdom or oversight to look at it and see the big picture yet.
And this isn't
He's
the
too
first
young.
time he's joked about things like that. He's joked before around very sensitive topics. He had like a whole racial joke around black people, like way back when I watched a video around. There's been things before. This is just the first mainstream thing that he's done like this. So
Yeah, he
it's-
made jokes about Ebola.
Yeah, it's
What?
not the first
Ebola.
time. He's done very
Ebola?
Yeah.
He's done
The
very
disease.
like not
edgy.
I've never
edgy,
even heard of
shock.
him until just
Yeah,
like
I know.
That's
me
what
either.
Jilly and I
5
were
minutes
saying. Yeah.
ago. So
Well, I mean, I'm hoping that he can learn from this. I'm not.
Yeah, well,
I don't know him, but I know if he means well, then that will come out in the end.
if he does, he has to rebrand himself completely.
I just felt
it's
like,
not-
as much as
Or
Aaron
just
is
go
saying,
away.
like, the apology, if you watch the whole 10 minutes, you understand all of it. But I just feel like when something like that happens, you have to open with, here's why I did this.
Exactly.
Here's why I
Agreed.
thought it was funny. And here's where I went wrong. And I'm sorry. And then you can say all your stuff about the mainstream media is out to get you. And we'll listen at that point. But I wasn't even ready to listen because I wanted to know, why did you think that was okay, first of all?
Exactly.
Because, how many followers does he have?
Over 50 million.
And how many people are on planet Earth?
7 billion.
So like KatieMichal and we didn't we weren't familiar with him, and now all we know about him is this, and that's probably not fair because he's probably a really cool, creative, interesting guy. Should we answer one more question before we?
Maybe
Was
the
there
last
one
one?
that grabbed you? Because we have
There's the
about,
last one. It's short. Sweet.
Go ahead, Josh.
I don't want to read. I don't
Oh, you don't want to read?
It's something about boobs being flat.
Oh, I'll read this one. Any good comebacks for when a guy calls you flat?
Laugh at him. Or smile. Do whatever you want. Tons of girls are flat.
You can say, well,
I'm
I
flat.
can't even see your penis, so how do I know it's the appropriate size?
Ooh, no.
Unfair.
Don't say it like that.
Just
I
be
think it's unfair
comfortable.
for a girl that has to get judged by the size.
that's
Does
so
it?
funny. So honestly, say that. Please comment about how tiny his penis is.
Right?
But what if it is
No,
big?
no. Tell. Well,
They don't
Awkward.
know. That's just
show me.
What I'm trying to say is girls have to get
No,
judged
but
by
I
something.
don't want to see someone's penis in front of me
No,
if
I
they say
know.
my boobs are
He's not gonna
flat.
actually take it out. So
But
I'm
you don't
saying-
know that. If
But,
he's
like, what
And
if
if he
you're
does,
confident?
no, and then if he does, then he
don't
gets even more like I think you should definitely comment about how tiny his penis is. Say, does it make you feel good to comment about my body because it makes you, like better? Oh fuck.
I feel like guys are super insecure about that. So like, no matter their size, if a girl says that,
Wait, but aren't girls super self-conscious about their breasts?
Not as much as you guys are about your penises.
True.
Yeah, I'm not
if a girl says,
We're not.
if a girl says you got a
guys are
small,
always trying to overcompensate. You know what I mean? You guys are always trying to overcompensate. So you're trying to make yourself feel better because you have a tiny, tiny little man
Sean,
in your pants.
Please finish your.
that was a good comeback. I think you should say that.
Well, yeah.
I totally forgot what I was saying.
No, you were saying, KatieMichal. Listen, the point I was making is
totally-
that your breast size is like apparent as you walk through the world, and you could be like in your lifetime, like maybe if you're a good guy, like maybe 5 people will see your penis. Hopefully.
Hopefully 5.
If you're a man whore, maybe 10. But I'm just kidding. No. No, but the point I'm making is it's like guys can walk through the world and no one ever knows that. And girls...
Unless you're just like super large.
No,
then
unless
it
you're
shows
like
through your
Kevin
pants,
Hart's
like, yeah,
uncle.
Just stop.
Do you remember that?
But you could be stuffing the area.
Or his dad, sorry.
No.
Learn to die.
No, but if you have the nerve to say something like that, like how dare him say anything about your body?
They
How
say it all the
dare-
time. I got it all throughout high school.
It's horrible. So well, okay,
Immature.
so I'm out. What a
Yes,
good
to
comeback.
my face.
Good comeback.
Tons of people would like laugh at me, or like if I was wearing a white shirt, they would say I'm too pale, and then if like then they would just constantly say that my boobs are flat, and I'm like, all right,
So
cool.
what is a good comeback? Then?
There's no comeback. Like I mean, I didn't come back because I'm just like whatever. It's my body.
you
Someone's
gotta-
gonna love
you
me
gotta
for
just
me.
be like whatever. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna be like insecure.
You're gonna get butthurt. I was
You're-
butthurt in high school.
Not everybody is gonna just have a really hard skeleton skin, but like grow one. Because like I said earlier, you're gonna get judged at every turn, and that's okay. Because you could be you, and you're awesome.
Another good one is to say, and your point is.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's good too.
It's like you're not gonna see them, so I know you want to, but it's not gonna happen.
Just pick out one thing about him.
Babu!
And you'd be like, and your shoes are too big,
Right.
or just like something ridiculous, like and your hat,
Your face is small,
But
so
big
like,
shoes.
like your face
Or
is
you,
flat.
if,
That'd be a good one.
maybe if the guy's like a little overweight, I just came to me. I'm so. But anyway, you could be like,
What?
Well,
Milo, I don't know.
no, you could just be like,
No fat jokes.
And this has been
that's
Journals Out
body
Loud.
shaming. All of that is obviously body shaming.
So is calling somebody flat though. That's body
Yeah,
shaming.
but you
No.
can't just you can't. No, you walk away.
You can't body shame them back. Too.
You could be.
Unless it's
Oh,
about
I have a
their
good
penis,
one. I could
though.
be one. So is yours. Like oh no,
Are yours?
like you're flat. You're flat.
I'll show you flat.
That's a good
The Wizards of
Wrap
Waverly
it
Place.
up.
I'll show you.
You guys, this has been a very entertaining show. I'm so glad I watched. I'm tuning in every week. It's the best show on YouTube. Take that, cutie pie.
I gotta pee.
PewDiePie?
PewDiePie.
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 JOL out. We'll see you next week.